Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do a beautiful rose with a lot of light around it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Of course, if you're enjoying these and you want to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for future painting videos. All right, let's get started. Now to start this painting, I'm going to block in a lot of this background with black. Black and just a touch of clear gel. There's my clear gel down here. And this is just going to provide us with an amazing background that gives a lot of contrast. Not too much paint, just enough to coat the canvas. And that clear gel will help it slide just a little. You don't want a whole lot of that. That's available, of course, on the website, as well as the paints and brushes and DVDs and all sorts of good stuff. Now, I've went ahead and did a basic sketch of my rose, and I did put in each petal and some of the curling areas of the petal, and then I did buds and whatever over there. The reason is that way I don't get any black into my flower. There we go. This should create a lot of contrast. We won't finish this, though, until we're done with the flower. We'll just get it close enough. Well, now that we're done with our black, let's grab our 3/4 brush. There's some white and some yellow. Maybe a touch of our red is okay in there. And let's go ahead and paint the light areas in this rose. Ready for this? Okay, so you see I did leave a nice little safety border there, so we shouldn't have any trouble. Now, because we spent a few minutes before the painting sketching, this is going to go down a whole lot easier than it otherwise would. Yeah, look at that. See that? These are just the light areas that I'm working on first. The reason? Well, in my opinion, and it doesn't matter what kind of medium you're using, you know, what kind of paint you're using, and a bunch of other things. But in my opinion, it's generally very easy to eat the lights up with the darks. It's not so easy the other way around. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't highlight light over dark. You, of course, do. But I'm just saying, when it comes to blending, I tend to lose the lights a lot faster than I lose the darks. There we go. Just going to keep working on this. Yeah, stroke in a little extra color. I mean, this is a red rose or a very dark pink rose or something. I don't know. We'll have some orange colors. I couldn't think of the word orange. We'll have some orange colors built in there somewhere. So it should be a lot of fun. Lots of good stuff happening. This is just the initial color. If we see a little of our sketch showing through, what we'll do is we'll just thicken that area. Be sure that you don't have any sketch showing through by the time you're done underpainting your rose, or at least close to it. Now with some red, and this is really just pure red on the brush, I'm going to drop in see, there it is right there, just eat up all those other colors and you got pretty much pure red. I'm just going to slide in all of my darker tones. You see, so I've got my light tones in, now I've got my darker tones going in. And my hope is that they blend together softly and that we don't eat up our lights. So I'll just be very careful not to eat up our lights. Kind of swing that around the edge there. We can always get our detail round out. I was trying to do as much with this brush as possible, just because it saves a little time. And you can get some good edges with this brush too. There we go. It slides right up. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so obviously that doesn't look finished because it's not. We have to come in still, and we have to add shadows and all sorts of random little things. There, just do my best to get it reasonably close to the sketch. Now I'm going to get a slightly more orange color, maybe a little white into that would be all right. And with this, let's go ahead and jump over here to this kind of half-open bud thing. It's not like totally closed. I've got in my sketch here, I've got a little bud. I don't know if we'll actually include that, but I thought it'd be fun to throw it in there just in case. So here's my thought with the bud. Let's paint it in just like we do the other one. And I wanted to get this in first before we fully shade the other rose, because I want them to kind of be, because we're using similar colors, I want them to kind of be going at the same speed, if you know what I mean, during the same time. Because that way when my brush is dirty with the shadow, I can jump over to this rose and do this as well. Cool. This one's obviously backlit, and maybe the light's kind of coming from the left, kind of back and left, something like that. Take your lights. I don't know why I didn't do the lights first. It doesn't really matter. And we can just come right up here and drop this in where they go. And I've got my sketch that I'm using to help me, although I'm not relying on it fully. I'm not join to the sketch and can't leave it. I can leave it and it's not a problem. Let me see here. Yeah, get a little more white. That white, when we put the black against it, will really look like it's shining. Doesn't look like much now. Now I went ahead and switched here to the detail round brush. Let me show you my palette. It's just, look at this big mess of color. You got every color you could possibly imagine kind of in the rose theme going on over here. So I'm just gonna take my detail round now. It's a little smaller than the 3/4 and work in some of these little, I don't know, little extra shots of color. Like that. That's good. We want those in there because that makes our rose look detailed. I mean, this, look at my hand. Like that rose is pretty big. So, you know, we're gonna need a little extra detail in there in order for it to look really, really nice. It will look okay just with a few colors, but look better with you if you add a little more variation. So that's what we're doing. This brush is softer, so of course it layers better. And we've already done the highlight. This is more just kind of extra mid-tone and stuff like that. And I'm good with it mixing, so no worries. I like that. And the colors are maybe just a little bit more vivid than before, which is good. Helps to add a little extra something to the painting. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. A little more orange in that one. Sometimes petals kind of have a dark outline. I'm not a rose expert, but that's just what I've been noticing. So we'll do that. It's probably where, oh, I know what it is. It's where the petals kind of curl a little bit on the edges. The light plays differently through that area. That's what it is. I got it. At least up in here, where it's very, very backlit. Now I've mixed up a very quick purple color from red and blue. I put some white into it so that you could see the shade of purple that it is, very much to the red side. This is what I'm going to use for shading a lot of this. 2 reasons. Number 1, I kind of like the cooler tones that the purple gives. Number 2, when it mixes, it shouldn't become gray and kind of boring. Because here's the thing with red roses. That red will be eaten up and then you'll be left with a very non-vivid, kind of sad looking rose. Now, that's not to say we won't use black. We probably will. It's just for some of these not so dark shadows, kind of mid-tone shadows. I don't know, just another value of shadow in here. I think the purple will definitely work out a lot better. So there you go, my ideas. And you know, if you guys have different ideas, great. Go with your different ideas. Give it a shot and let me know how it goes. I might learn something too. Not too much dark or you'll lose that light, but just enough to show a little dark every once in a while. You can always rub it in. That'll actually, all you have to do is rub it in order to get a softer look to it. Now I would like to put on the feeling just of another rose or 2 back here. The reason is I don't know, something different, right? There's the reason, something different. It's fun. I like to do different things. Now with our sap green, I put a little black and brown into it. I just think that's nice. I even snuck some red into it as well. Anything to just change it up. I already kind of got these little bits of the stem going. Like that. Okay, that's good. This one's really, really sunlit, and I think let's just sneak a little light along the back side of this one. That looks about right. Cool. All right, if any of that looks weird, we can always cover it later. Let's go ahead and let's just go with green. And let's get our stem in there. Just like this, nice and dark. It actually helps to add an extra shadow, doesn't it? Just use this as another shadow. Now, very soon, actually in just a second, I'm gonna pop in our darks. Just grab my little 3/4 that's clean, and I'm gonna go right into some black, and I got a little clear gel left. You wanna make sure that you put clear gel in it so that it slides just a bit, and I'm gonna work that in. Make sure your brush strokes are, feathered into whatever else is going on up here. You don't want to have like big broad brush strokes and little tight brush strokes because they will show when it dries. There we go. Now with our detail round, I'm just going to drop in a little highlight, a little extra light on the stem going down. And you know what I've actually been noticing? Since we've gotten all this black paint in and carefully cut around our rose, I'm noticing that it's really shiny, and that's because the way I have the lights. Normally I have a lot of, you know, light colors in the sky and everything, so up here it doesn't shine so bad, but the dark colors tend to shine more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a break for just a minute, and I'm gonna play around with the lights and see if I can fix that for you guys so you can see the painting. Because this is really jet black and it looks gray up here, I was noticing. So I'll go fix that. Now, as you can see, we've got it pretty much fixed. There's a little bit up in here I wasn't able to take care of, but on the second camera, the one that shoots over there, it looks pretty good. It looks jet black, and that's what I wanted. Because that's the way it is. I'm standing here looking at it, and I go back and I look at the camera, I'm like, oh, that's not what I'm seeing. So this way you guys can see what I'm seeing. And you'll notice that when you paint it at home, especially when you work with a lot of dark colors, that they sure do shine from certain angles. And when you happen to be at the angle, well, then it just doesn't look right because it makes your darks look lighter and the whole painting falls apart. And that's what I was noticing. It wasn't so bad, or well, maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe, I guess I didn't notice it as much earlier, but once I got the whole background in, and then I went back, and I always take a good look through the camera so that I can make sure that you guys are seeing what you're supposed to be seeing, and it doesn't look goofy or anything, because sometimes things show up in the camera that you don't really notice in person. So anyway, I did that, and I was thinking, boy, that looks kind of weird. So I fixed the lighting for you. There we go. And while I'm talking to you, I'm just placing a lot of light and maybe an extra highlight right here on this rose. This one will be covered mostly by leaves. A little bit of that gray is sneaking in, and I'm okay with that. All right, let me do the other one up here as well. Now, as you can see here, I've got just a few leaf sketches on the canvas, and I don't think you would have been able to see them before with all the reflective paint. Well, the lighting, I guess the paint's just paint with the reflective lighting. So I'm glad I changed it. That's all I was gonna say. Glad I moved it around. So now what we can do is we can just pop a few of these lights. I'm trying to think on this one, it's kind of a weird shape. Pop a few of these lights on the leaves. Oh, that's a good curl there. Like that. And remember, the lighting's very strong, but I don't want the leaves to become the focus. These guys are here to fill in and make it feel not just like one rose stuck out here on a black canvas, although those kind of paintings are sometimes fun. Not what I want to do today. I want to make more of a painting than that. Little bits of stuff happening here. Now, the good news is if you make something you don't like, just if that happens, it probably won't, but if it does, you can very easily take it, wipe it in with a paper towel, and then put your black right over it. It'll eat it right back up. So that's a good thing. There. It's very, very wet back here, so good thing we don't want them too bright anyway, because it'll be pretty challenging. This area is pretty wet. Now, just so you know, the shininess of the paint will go away in the next couple weeks as it dries. So don't feel like it's going to be shiny forever. So that's a good thing. Well, I knew this was a possibility. After I kind of got the stuff in and around those roses, I took a look from way back there where you guys see, and I just thought, well, that's kind of distracting. So I took them out. There's what you do if you don't like something. So now I got my 2-inch brush, which is laying right down there, and same one. Looks like I might need a little more clear gel into that, but see how they just paint right over that? Look how easy that is. And I'm going to work it, maybe just creating a better pocket of negative space so you have a flow to the painting instead of just blocky. Does that make sense? All right, let me get this repaired. It shouldn't take more than just one more, or two, maybe 2 minutes. Well worth it. And we didn't invest a whole lot of time in those roses. Now I think one of the very last things we're going to do up here is try to tie the leaves in with the roses through use of color. You know how I like to do that. Every once in a while I will just, and this is pretty wet, so it's a little tricky, but just throw on a little bit of this red. I don't mean it's tricky like you can't do it. I mean just it's tricky like do 1 or 2 brush strokes and then reload. When you get that much paint on the canvas, that's what you got to do. Beautiful. Loving this sort of stuff. You see what I did with the composition? I really simplified it. I was going to go so much more crazy with leaves on this side and make it kind of like a canopy. I think it totally was better doing it this way. Look at the negative space, a little bit of action that just fades off into the dark, and some negative space along the bottom. I just like that. I think that is so cool. Much better. So don't be afraid to play around with your ideas. You're not stuck. Not for 1 second. You are never stuck when you paint. So don't feel like it. Don't feel like you are. That would just hold you back. And we're not interested in that. There. I love this red. It really needed this. It will really tie the whole painting together, make it feel totally finished, and make it feel like one painting. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.